Hi guys, Archie Luxury, Paul Pluta channel. Today I'm doing paid reviews. And this one here has come in here. Good evening, Paul. I really have enjoyed your videos, mate. I was hoping that you'd be able to help me out with some advice for my first high-end watch. I've always enjoyed watches but never really been in a position and or interested in owning something high-end until now. However, last year I inherited a Rolex 6694 from an old friend of mine. It was his father's watch, which he purchased new in 1959. It needed a bit of work and a new band. However, while researching for all the bits and pieces, I seem to have developed a desire to get a high-end watch for myself. Ideally, it would be something I could wear in most situations. I prefer a small, more traditional sized men's watch. The ones I've been looking at are the Rolex Datejust, Grand Seiko, and the Harboring Felix. Also, you mentioned that it's best to purchase used. Are you able to recommend some places in Australia which might be able to help me out? Your pal, sending you through some money, Matt. Thank you, Matt. Well, Matt, the best thing I would say is for a newbie there, if you're in Australia, there's some really great dealers here. If you're in Melbourne, there's European Watch Gallery. Shawnee is there. Bruce also works there. Sydney, there's Sydney Watch Exchange. There's also Vintage Watch Co. There's a number of high-end dealers. And if you're in Brisbane, we've got Vintage Watch Co. What would I buy high-end wise? What would I recommend? I think, look, stay away from Grand Seiko. Grand Seiko is for someone who's got about half a dozen high-end watches and they want something funky. You don't buy a Grand Seiko as a first piece. That's not a good idea. Grand Seiko is for, how do I put it? Grand Seiko is for purists who have something they want. You know, it's an individual watch, but I wouldn't make it my only watch. The Harboring Felix, forget that fucking piece of shit brands. Unique micro brands, fuck that off. I tell you what you need. You need a fucking Rolex. Rolex. That's what you need, a Rolex. And if you want something nice at a reasonable, reasonable money, I would say I would be looking for a sapphire crystal Datejust. I reckon a 16234. That's the reference number. A Datejust 16234, 36 mil. So it's a little bit small. Some would say it's a little bit too small, but it's a lot bigger than the 6694. 6694 was a 34 mil, so it wears quite a bit bigger. The 6694 is also a manual wind with a date, whereas the 16234 is an automatic. So I would get a good piece, find a good dealer and see what they can help you with. You're going to be spending, I would say, you're going to have to spend about $3,000 to $4,000 for a Datejust, a nice steel Datejust there. Box and papers. Look, it's nice to have the box. Papers isn't essential. A lot of people threw the papers out over time, and a 16234, you're looking at something that's at least 20 years old. So it's that's what I'd do. I reckon get a Rolex for yourself. Don't get a fucking micro brand or a fucking Grand Seiko. Get a fucking Rolex. Unfortunately, the sports Rolexes are a bit on the fucking expensive side. You want to get a Submariner or a GMT, they're just fucking hard to get. You're going to need about 10,000, up to 10, well, over 10,000 for some GMTs. You can get an Explorer 2. They're about 7,000, 8,000. That's for a 40 mil. The 42, surprisingly, isn't much more, and it's a more modern watch. It's sort of a little bit of the dog of the range. Subbies are expensive. I personally would say, you want a good watch, get a fucking Rolex. Get a Rolex. Rolex is just, it's the benchmark, it's a quality watch. and you buy a nice example. Look, you're not going to make a fortune out of it. It's not about making money, but it's going to be a great watch to have. You can wear it, enjoy it, love it. It's a nice piece to have. So personally, Rolex, Rolex, Rolex. That's what I would do. Get a Rolex for yourself. I mean, that's what I'd do. Definitely, you're interested in, get a fucking Rolex. Rolex is a cool brand. Get it from a dealer. Don't fucking do this eBay thing. I mean, eBay is for sophisticated buyers. You've got to know what you're fucking doing. You don't jump in there with the sharks if you're noobs. That's what we call people who are sort of new to the hobby. So I would strongly say for you there, just fucking take it easy. Go in nicely. Go in nicely. And if you're a noob, I would really just take it easy. Get a good dealer you can trust. Get a decent Rolex and see what you think. And the next piece I would get is, after I got a Rolex, I'd get an Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon. That's a great chronograph. It's a manual wind. Manual wind? Yes, manual wind. I'd get one of those. And if you still love the watches, I'd get myself a Tudor Black Bay Heritage. That's right, Tudor Black Bay Heritage. I reckon that is how I'd go into watches if you've got a bit of an interest. Get the fucking Rolex. Get the Rolex. Be done with it. Get the Rolex. And man, be happy. Keep watching the Paul Pluta and the Archie Luxury channel. Remember, like, subscribe, tell your fuckhead friends, and don't forget to put a few really nasty comments below. Wristwatch check. I'm wearing the Breitling, fuckers. See you later.